guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amber, and today I am bringing you guys my January wrap-up. I know I'm kind of late. Listen, life happens, and I film when I can. So, we're going to start off with the books I read this month. Last month, I had a pretty decent little month. January was an extension of 2020 for me, so I'm surprised that I got through the books that I did, because January was rough, okay? Rough. So first off, the first book that I read was Ava's Man by Gayl Jones. I read this via ebook from my library on Libby, and this follows Ava, and she is in a therapy session with her psychiatrist, and she's telling the story of how she came about to killing her boyfriend, and how she killed her boyfriend was that this is very graphic, that she bit off his private area. So, yeah, so she's just going through a therapy session starting from when she was young, and how she was always looked at gross, how she had relations at 12, how basically how all of these things amounted to her being who she was, and being a woman, and how men are disgusting, and how she came about to ended up killing her husband. It's about 200 or so pages, but it was a mess. It was a mess of a book. That was my, step into January, because January was a mess. And that book, I couldn't rate it, because I'm like, I don't even know how you would rate that type of book. It was a lot of trauma, and it brought up a lot of memories for me that I didn't like, so I couldn't even rate it. Next book I read was James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room, and this follows Giovanni and a man who I realized that we don't even know his name. Giovanni and I do not know this other man's name. That was his man, and he meets this man named Giovanni.
I don't want that one.
He ends up, living with Giovanni. He moves to Paris. He ends up meeting Giovanni. They become friends. They end up moving in together. They end up being somewhat lovers, somewhat together. They didn't really put a title on it, but you could tell that something was there. And then he ends up not finding out, on the side, he has, this girl that's been traveling the world, and he's basically waiting for her. So when she writes a letter and saying, I'm coming to Paris, now he's torn between the two. Do I stay with Giovanni? Do I go be with this girl? He made me mad by doing the other thing, and then stuff ends up happening, and I was mad at him, and I'm still mad at this book. I can't even tell you what happened because of spoilers, but this book was really good. I really loved the writing in this. Baldwin knows how to capture a reader with the way he described things, the conversations that people have, the way it makes you think, and it was so good. I gave this book 5 stars, and I can't wait to read more of Baldwin. I don't know what book of his I will read next, but I'm excited for whatever I have next on the list. Then the next book I read is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. For Christmas, after Christmas, I got myself all the books of the Throne of Glass books that I didn't own. So I didn't own The Assassin's Blade, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire Storm, Tower of Dawn. So I decided that I was going to do the Throne of Glass read-along that is going on YouTube. And so I started with Assassin's Blade. I think I gave it a 3.5, because it's a collection of novellas. So my favorite novella is the one with the pirate. My favorite out of the novellas is The Assassin and the Healer, The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, and I think The Assassin and the Empire. I don't know. I actually like it as a whole, but those are the couple that I like out of it, and I'm excited to dive back into this series. I tried to read Throne of Glass in January. I totally skipped it because I was not rereading Throne of Glass for the 6th time. So I knew what happened. So now I'm on Carter Midnight. Yeah, I'm not even dedicating it to the reading long anymore. I'm just going to read on my own time when I want to reread it. So now I'm on Carter Midnight. But yes, The Assassin's Blade, I'm glad that I now own the ones I didn't own physical copies, because I feel like it's going to make my experience better. Because when I first read the series, the first time through, I only own Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight physically, and then I read the other ones. I want that. And then I read the other ones ebook, and then I bought Kingdom of Ash. So I'm excited to redo these in a physical form. Anyway, moving on. The next book that I read was an arc, was Wings of Ebony by Elle. This follows a girl who's follows Rue, and she has been away from this particular neighborhood for about 3 years now. She comes back to wish her sister a happy birthday. She hasn't seen her sister in 3 years. Then something happens to where she has to use her magic, and that unfolds a lot of stuff. She ends up finding out that her dad is a part of the place that she's at. She ends up finding out that where her dad's been. Her dad is like this big person in this fantasy world. She ends up learning more about her culture. And I really like this book because it touched on social issues such as like black bodies getting murdered by police. She talks about how white people take away from black people, whether it's their culture, their skin, their, like, it's a lot of stuff that, you know, pertains to black people in this book. And it touches on a lot of social issues that I really enjoy. I think I gave this one 4.5 stars. It was really good. I need to get me my own physical copy because I highlighted a lot in my Kindle. It is out now. This came out January 26th. So I read this a couple weeks before it came out. The next book I read was an arc as well, and it's Muted by Tami Charles. I wish trade a physical copy, but I made my sister read it. So this follows a girl named Denver and her two best friends, Dolly and Sakai, and they are a girl group. They want to be famous, they want to sing, you know. So they end up meeting a celebrity called Sean Mercury Ellis, and he ends up taking them under their wing. He ends up, you know, telling them, I'm going to get you this house, we're going to go on tour, all this and all that. And then things start going downhill. If you have read Grown, it's basically like the same type of mess, where a celebrity grooms a young star in the making and crap go down. So yeah, this was really good. It left me absolutely shook at the ending. It left me shook at the whole book. It's told in verse, which made the story really, really fast. I feel like if the story was told in like regular prose, I would be extremely bored with it. Or if it had like short chapters, maybe. But the prose, the verse part, definitely like did really good. And then so yesterday, I was able to be a part of the publication release type thing on Zoom, and it was so fun because I was able to hear the songs that Denver was writing in the story, and the author herself was singing it, and it was a great time. It was a great time. So, yeah, Muted by Tami Charles. I give that book 5 stars. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning reading that. I ended at 4, and then immediately watched the R. Kelly documentary, which is, y'all don't watch that, because that mess is sick. And so I just wanted to see, like, how Grown and this book got their ideas, even though Grown is not about R. Kelly. I just want to see the similarities between the books and the documentary. The documentary, it was sick. I hope he rots in jail, because that's disgusting. And seeing that just really breaks my heart. But moving on, I give that book 5 stars. Go get you a copy if you have not read that or heard about it. I don't Goodreads, all that stuff. The book I read was Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. Now, on NetGalley, this has 2 different publication dates. On Amazon, it says that this book comes out in April. On NetGalley, it says I think it comes out in the UK in February. So I'm gonna put both publication dates because that irritates me and it frustrates me because I never know what is the actual publication date for books. So y'all, this book was beautiful. So the author had put up this trailer of the book on Instagram, and that immediately piqued my interest for the book. So I immediately went to NetGalley. I requested it the next day. I got accepted. I was like, look at the book, guys. Okay, so I immediately started reading it. Y'all, when I tell you that this author has read him some James Baldwin, some authors that hit with their writing, this book was beautiful. I'm gonna go get my Kindle so that I can read you some lyrics, some quotes, because I highlighted so much, and I need to give me a physical copy of this book because it was so beautiful. But before I do that, let me tell you what it's about. It follows two characters. You don't know their name. Um, I don't think. I can't remember right now. But you follow two characters, a photographer and I don't remember what the girl did. But these two characters, they end up becoming friends. Then they end up falling in love. And it was just the most beautiful thing in the world. It's the type of thing that I've been looking for in a black book for the longest. It's about like black love and black, so like the, oh, it's just so beautiful. The male main perspective, he talks about how he's black racial trauma, you know, of constantly being stopped by police. He's seeing his friends killed, wondering if he's ever going to make it to the next day. It was the most beautifulest book I've ever read in my life. And I bet you it sounds immaculate as an audiobook. And I can't wait for that. But let me go get my Kindle so I can read you some quotes. Moving so slow. Okay, I'm here. I'm in the book. Okay, I found the big quote. Okay, it says, "It is like you both dive into the open water, but you have resurfaced with her elsewhere. It is like you formed a joint only to fracture, only to break. It is an ache you have not known and do not know how to name. It is terrifying, and yet you knew what you were getting into. You knew that to love is both to swim and to drown." That's not the whole quote, that's not the whole paragraph, but imagine reading that. It just it brought up some memories about some loves that I wish I would have took my time with. It brought up some stuff I kind of regretted. It made me think of the future when I do fall in love again. It's just it was so beautiful, so beautiful. Y'all gotta read it because I can't. All I'm gonna keep saying that it was beautiful. And the last book I read was a poetry book, and it is called "I Love My Love" by Reyna Biddy. If y'all know, if you don't know, Reyna Biddy is one of my favorite poetry writers. I love the mess out of her. And I wasn't planning on reading this book actually, but after the year that I had last year, I decided to go back to this book. And mainly, this book is about breakups and overcoming breakups and overcoming heartache and everything. So in the past year, 2020 was rough because I'm about to get vulnerable real quick. But 2020 was rough because I had lost my dad. I had just went through a breakup, and it wasn't really a breakup. It was more of a, okay, I'm gonna call it a breakup. It was a breakup, and then like later on in the year, I went through another breakup, but it wasn't really a relationship breakup. It's more of a, I have to let you go type of thing. And then yeah, that was just basically 2020 for me. So 2020 was a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, a lot of crying, a lot of,
well, I'm drawing now.
Good job. A lot of depression, anxiety. 2020 was rough. It was one of the roughest years I've ever had.
You're not doing.
I decided to pick this up just on a whim last year. I mean, at the beginning of the month. And I just read some throughout the month, highlighted what I liked. My favorite of this poem collection is called Recover. And I'm going to read it because she also came out last year with a poem album called Sunday. And this poem is from this collection, but it's also in the new album that she has, and that is my favorite off the album, so I'm going to read that to you too. So it's called Recover. Sometimes your heart will hurt. Sometimes your smile will ache. Sometimes your light will dim. Sometimes your spirit will break. Sometimes your entire world will come crashing down with no warning and no signs. But no matter how destroyed you feel, you have to be willing to dig deep inside of you to find some ambition to get you back right. You have to look out for you. You have to let go. You have to place your focus primarily on you. Nothing about losing what's familiar feels good, but uncomfortable places can be beautiful. Growth is beautiful. You are beautiful. You shouldn't have to wait around and pray for someone to love you. You should love you. You should let go, because nothing worth holding on to will ever destroy you. And holding on is destroying you. Trying to love someone into loving you is destroying you. Let go because you have to get a hold of you. You have to retrace your steps and figure out where you let you go. You have to take time to yourself to reflect on when and where you lost yourself. You have to let go of what no longer is and accept what may have never been. Then you have to pick yourself back up. You have to release any negativity clouding your mind, and you have to rid yourself of hopeful feelings. Cleanse your soul. Listen to your intuition. Learn yourself. Let go of any bad habits you picked up along your journey and start over. No matter how bad or how much it hurts, let go and start with a clean slate because holding on is destroying you. Yo, oh my gosh. Okay, so that not only pertains to love, that pertains to trauma with me, that pertains to letting go of hurt from my parent, from life, like me, like bad thoughts, all of that. Oh my god, I love this so much. So again, this is called I Love My Love by Reyna Biddy. She also has 2 other books coming out. I will leave all her links down below. She has a podcast with her cousin. It's called UnpackNBounceBack. I will scream from the moon about Reyna Biddy because she has helped me with my self growth, and if I could meet her and tell her that, I would. So yeah, these are all the books that I've read this month. I've read a lot. So yeah, um, I can't wait for next month. Hopefully, I am about to film my February TBR. So hopefully, I will go through with every book that I said I was going to read. So as you see, I didn't read 3 books on my January TBR, but that's okay. I'm gonna try TBRs this last month, February, and then I'm done. Back to movie reading. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I read this month. Let me know what you read, and if you've gotten this far in this video, put a rose emoji for I Love My Love. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you read in January, or what was your favorite book in January, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.